Immigrants, especially Africans, have suddenly become a problem to the developed world. I don't know if you should be complaining about immigrants, Africans in your own countries, or Africans should be complaining about what you've done to the continent Africa for centuries. Let me give you an example to show people who reason. Pope Francis left the Vatican, went down to Congo in Africa. The deplorable conditions Pope Francis saw Congolese living in when compared to the countries where the resources of Congo are being taken to, left him with no choice but to leave a statement to the rich world. Pope Francis said, hands off Africa to the rich world. Leave African leaders alone. Take your hands off African politics. Stop corrupting African leaders. Stop turning African leaders against their people. Instead of African leaders using their resources to make their countries paradise for their own citizens to stay and live there, they are busy loading them on vessels, sending them to your own country. You make your own countries beautiful and you take the gratification from your own citizens as good leaders in your own country, while the source of the materials, the resources, is still impoverished and poor. Congo is supposed to be one of the richest countries in the world, richest in Africa, because every resource you can think of is in Congo. But if you see what is happening in Congo, you will not shed tears, you will shed blood. The Pope said, hands off Africa. Take your hands off Africa and see if Africans will pay flight to your countries, except for touristic reasons or business. Take your hands off Africa and see if Africans will bear risk on high tides and waves in the Mediterranean Sea to come to your countries to cause the problems which you claim we cause. Take your hands off Africa and see if Africans will bear risk from Colombia to Panama through the Darien Gap with kids tracing their way to America to cause the problems which you claim we cause. I'm not saying you should not do business with Africa because you cannot stop international trade. But let the interaction between you and Africa not be exploitation. It should be business, not exploitation. So if you want to solve the problem, you don't look at the problem now. You don't solve a social problem like that. You trace the problem from history, where it started. Go back to where you started spoiling it, fix it from there. And by doing so, can you have a solution to your problem now? Don't forget, the Pope said, hands off Africa.